Hey guys, I am going live without any notification that I was going to go live. So here I am, and I wanted to address the one question that I'm getting the most in my latest videos, which I get you guys are excited about, but I will answer that in just a minute. I'm going to wait for some people to get on here live. I'm going to go fill up my water cup in the meantime. Oh, and they're pouring new roads down the way, so you're going to hear trucks go by, I think. But I want to wait for some people to get on before I address this question. And like I said, I notified no one that I was going to go live. It was just kind of like on the cuff, let's go live. So let me go grab some water. I'm a mess because, well, I've been dealing with this back issue. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm here. I'm here. Hold on, let me turn some lights on. It's actually very dark in here. We are expecting storms. Hey Mary, hey Gloria. Carriage return. Marta de Jesus. Hola, hello. Okay, I ended up getting sweet tea. Okay. Hey, Lori. Sorry I didn't let Donna. Hi. I didn't let you guys know I was going to go live because it was on the cuff. First update on my back. I ended up at the emergency room again. I drove myself. Ernie was not home, and I hadn't slept all night because of pain, and so Ernie had to come home. So he's home, and he's taking care of me. He's doing all the cooking, and he's taking care of me, so I'm good, you guys. Hey, Barbara. Hey, Frida. So, anyways, my back is, they ended up hooking me up to an IV because I was in so much pain and giving me injections. I got a telemarketer call. No, thank you. And giving me the pain medication intravenously because I was in so much pain. And so that helped. And I'm doing Motrin. No, I'm sorry. I'm doing Tylenol 3 times a day, muscle relaxers, and I have 2 more steroid pills. But I have a primary care physician appointment in a couple weeks, and then I have a chiropractor appointment on Tuesday. So you guys, I came home. I had to call my neighbor to come pick me up from the hospital because I couldn't drive. They gave me morphine. That's how much pain I was in. And I couldn't drive. And so she came to get me. And as soon as I walked in the house, clothes and everything, I dived into bed and passed out for hours. Hey, Jennifer. Yes, he's home. So the number one question I'm getting right now is, do we still have the country home? Of course we do. We still have the country home. The problem is time. We have no time. There's not enough time. I keep telling everybody we live in this house. This is our home. And I have so many gardening projects I want to do here that every time we have the time, we're spending it doing projects here because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pretty big projects that we're doing here at this house that I want to get done this season. So I'm guessing we're probably toward the end of spring, sometime in the summer, which does not sound very appealing at all. We're going to be moving over to the country house gardens, but right now we need to take care of where we live. This is our home. So I appreciate everybody asking, but I wish everybody would stop, because I almost wish I wouldn't have told anybody that we bought a country house, because I get so many questions, which I get excited. Believe me, I'm the most impatient about it. I told Ernie, we should just hire somebody to do it all, because I just want it done. You know what I mean? But there's no fun in that. We want our hand at it. So, what we have planned there is so much bigger than what we're doing here that it's going to take 100% of our time. We need to do what we need to do here before we even move over there, because that's a big project. As you guys well know, it's a lot of land. So, and in the meantime, we're dealing with all these little things that come up. Like, for instance, our landscaper, who's now mowed 3 times. And this last time we went to go check, we went the day he mowed the last time to go take the furniture, the chairs that we replaced on the back patio. And he shot rocks into the siding. So we have 4 holes in our siding. He's claiming he didn't do it. He's a loser. I'm going to take care of that. So we got to replace that. It's like, we're not even living there and I've got to replace that. And do you have cameras? That's what he said. Do you have cameras? No, but I have neighbors, and you shot a hole in their house too. I mean, just irresponsible. You know what I mean? So anyways, I would have been cool with it had the guy not tried to, sly his way out of it, but he's messing with the wrong person. I am not the person you mess with when it comes to my money or property. I promise you, I am not that person. I am the sweetest person. I will give you the shirt off my back. But when you mess with my money, my time, or my family, I switch that. I flip that switch real quick. So he needs to make things right, or he's going to get hunted down, if you know what I mean. So, oh my gosh, that's what I looked for. I think the only reason why we had no windows, because you guys know the house sits up on like a hill. So when he mows, it's shooting towards the lower part of the house, and the windows sit up higher. But I totally was like, oh my God, a window's got to be shot out. No, thank goodness, because we're not. Oh my gosh. I can't take the call. Hopefully they leave a message. That might have been my dryer repair people. Oh well. Anyways, so yeah, we have to deal with that, but it's cool. The material's only going to cost us like $60. That's not a big deal. And then we got to get somebody out there to replace the siding. And I guarantee you, now that he's been called out on his mowing job, and it's not his fault. There's rocks, but I would think a responsible landscaper would know. I watch them on TV all the time, the channels, because I love watching yard makeovers, as y'all know, or, just mowing of lawns. And they always go through the property and make sure there's nothing that's going to damage anything. You know what I mean? Themselves included. These guys are get them in, get them out. So, hello, everybody. Hello. Yeah, so I just took I told Ernie, it's so funny because the muscle relaxers are like not even doing anything anymore. What's doing it is the extra strength Tylenol fast relief, 500 milligrams, 3 times a day. It's amazing. But the actual back pain is gone now. Now it's moved into like it's just like a Charlie horse. You guys that deal with your sciatic know what I'm talking about. It's the most annoying pain that just doesn't. If I could have cut my leg off the other day, I would have. It was horrible. So anyways, but as far as the country house, yes, we still own it. Of course we do. And we are excited to get to it. But I have so many projects here that I want to get completed. I mean, some really cool stuff. And this is the year that I want to get that stuff done. And I can't work over there. And like I said, that project is so much bigger. That we have had people ask us about buying that house, by the way, just so you know. It's a pretty hot area right now, and we have you almost get tempted, but it's just a bigger project, and It's going to take, we're not going to be able to do everything ourselves. We're going to have to hire out some of it. But the first thing that's most important is here at this house, because this is where we live. And Ernie and I are the kind of people that live on every inch of our property. We sit out on our back patio and enjoy it. We are in our yard. We're gardening in the front. Ernie was just walking around earlier and he was just pulling a weed here, pulling a weed there. We enjoy our property and we enjoy our home, every inch of it. And so it's important to us, for us as a family to have it enjoyable, something enjoyable to look at. And I have such high hopes for such a beautiful garden, and you're constantly creating. When you have a garden, for those of you that garden, you know what I'm talking about. You could be satisfied and then you think, oh, I want to do this. And so you add to it. And then you think, oh gosh, that opens up the creativity window. And when I look at my garden, I look at my garden as like if I'm decorating a house. That's how I garden, honestly. And so I see walls of green and I see furniture, which are like my big plants, my hydrangeas and all of that stuff. And then all the other little things are like accessories. And I'm always looking for ways to make hallways. And that's just how I garden. That's how my brain thinks when I think of gardening. So when I'm out there, you guys are seeing a garden, you're seeing a room, or I'm sorry, you're seeing a yard. For me, I'm seeing a room. That's how my vision works. And so, I paint because we're working on a project and I'm tired of sitting on the sofa. So Ernie put a bench out there and I got to paint this much before he said that was enough and made me come inside. Not very nice, but thank you. I do believe it's getting there. My yard is getting there. And I thank you so much. I love when people compliment me on it, but it's so hard to see how pretty it is now. Well, we love it, but I just have my end vision, which, let's face it, it's never going to be done. My end vision is so much better than what it is now. And I'm looking like trellises to me are wallpaper, and I just, hanging baskets are like, chandeliers. And that's just how I look at gardening. When I'm looking at somebody's garden, I watch those videos endlessly. I'm an endless garden tour viewer. I just will watch them all day long. I love them. And I want my gardens to look like so many of those. Now, we have a compact garden, right? It's compact here at this house. It's compact. We have so much more opportunity at the country house, 1.5 acres, And so I want to make sure to get that right when we do it. Like, I want it to be right. I don't want any mistakes. This one of the questions that I got the most when we actually did the actual video. And then when I put it together as a time lapse over the last 2 years, it was a couple videos ago. The one question I got was, I don't understand. And I get the question. I totally get it. Why did you have sod laid out if you were going to cut it out? Well, I guess people think differently. Some people are patient. We already talked about how I'm not patient at all. But I had to see a blank slate of green before I could design in my head where I wanted those trees to go. For sure, I wanted to make sure I needed, like arbs. That was like the number one thing, grass and arbs. I knew that I needed to have that green wall. But then how did I want to place entries into the garden? That was number 2. And so I knew I wanted an entry over in that, the bottom part of the yard. And, because Ernie needed a way to get out to mow behind the arbs. And it's charming. It's a charming little entry. And then, so I needed the entry points and I needed to see, and if you noticed in that video, the garden's changed, even so, even after we did that. So when I laugh when I see that first video where we were painting the garden spaces out, and we did that one point that came up, and we both are like, why did we do that? Because we ended up changing it when we had the concrete border done. And I get a lot of questions on that too, and I'll talk about that in a second. We obviously changed it, you know, and it's so funny because somebody commented, I already see the mistakes, because, you know, the internet knows everything. I already see your mistakes. You know, your gardens are too small and too many curves. It's going to be hard to mow. And it's like, really? First of all, I told Ernie the audacity of somebody to go to somebody else's video and tell them what they did wrong in their garden. I mean, I don't mind when people tell me I did something wrong with a plant. Believe me, like last year I was using fertilizer in my lamb's ear and my not coleus. Help me out here, guys. Oh my gosh, I can't think of it. Sedum. And you guys were the great ones that said, no fertilizer on the sedum, and that stuck with me. That I don't mind. But could you imagine going to somebody's video and telling them their gardens are too small and there's too many curves in their garden? I was like, oh my gosh, I just gave them a heart and a liked and moved on. But anyways, so that was so funny because when I watched the video, we were like, what the heck did we do that for? You know, it's weird how your brain works, you know? So even waiting, because we waited, I think, until Ernie mowed 2 times before we actually designed the garden. And we had just started pulling the sod up right when it started to take root. So that's why it was coming up so easy, because I mean, in some parts it was a little more difficult, but in some parts it was easier. So it was, we had just hit that, you know, that mark, and we knew that if we were going to pull up sod, we needed to do it before it was like hard to do. So that's why it was pretty easy to like cut and roll, you know. So oh, thank you. I'm a mess, you guys. I haven't done my hair in, I think, the last couple videos because I was in so much pain. I was hyped up on medication, and I'm like, I got to get videos out for my friends. Ernie's like, no, you need to stay off your feet. And I'm like, I can't sit on my feet. I can't. I mean, I can't sit on my butt, not my feet. Oh, I got to get rid of Gizmo. Please hold. You're disgusting, Gizmo. Let me make sure I'm putting this user, reporting this user unwanted. And I'm going to hide you now, Gizmo. So bye. See ya. Okay, so I got to keep looking over here because you get these perverts that come on and they're just disgusting in the comments. Hey, everybody. Okay, so where was I? Where was I? Gizmo has me all mad right now. I can't stand that. Hey, from Ottawa. I blocked Gizmo. He's gone, Sandra. I know. I can't. I wish you guys could talk to me because I'm like looking at the camera and I have to look over here when I see where it is. If I see that moving fast, then I'll know to look down. Like if you guys hit a bunch of hearts or something, and I'll know to look down if I get another one. Anyway, so when we designed, so we designed that after Ernie's second mow, and still made mistakes on the shape. And then I knew that I wanted some sort of a pathway because if you guys remember, I wanted also a third entry at that side of the yard, at that side of the garden. And I have since decided against that. That's why we had the curb go all the way around. But we're doing something, we're still putting a pathway in there, but it's a pathway to walk through the garden to maintain it. It's going to look adorable though. And I'm putting something at the end there that's going to be gorgeous. So I'm doing that. But even after that, all that planning, you still make changes and you still want to add on. And it's kind of like a house, you know, the house grows on you and you your garden does as well. And you start to make changes, especially this year. I'm really feeling it because of the maturity of the things I got in the ground the first year. And now they've really taken hold and they're really just beefing up. And my garden is so big, like they're so big in the garden, and it's pretty cool, to see that. But I'm the kind of gardener that likes everything to touch. But not touching to where they're crowded. I just want them to touch. And I'm sure I've made a mistake or two with plantings, but that's okay. Things are meant to be moved, so there's that. But as far as the curbing, before I forget, because I said I was going to talk about it, I get a lot of questions about all the curbing. Everybody wants to know where I got it. And that was poured on site by a company called the Curbing Edge. And they come out with a really cool little machine. I have a video somewhere on my channel, and I don't remember what the video name is, where I showed it. But they come out with a really cool machine, and they mix the concrete right in that machine, and they walk it along. They go through and they go through on your design, and they just walk it along, and it pours out that perfect, they dig it out, like they dig out about that much of the ground, and then they just pour it as they go along. And then just like concrete, they finish it with a stamp, and it comes, well, at least our company, and we used one in California as well, different stamp choices. You could do like a brick pattern, the kind of pattern we have. They have all kinds of different patterns they can do, and colors. So you can always have it match your home. And I'm sure in every state, every city probably has a company that does that. So it's a definite, just look up if you're interested, curbed edge, garden edging or something in something will pop up, I'm sure. It was probably, to get our whole property done, it was probably about $2,500 to do the whole property that we've done. So it's not cheap, but we didn't do it all at once either. We split it up. So anyway, so there's that. So it's not super inexpensive, but it looks great, and it looks beautiful. You do have to sill it once a year or once every other year. I can't remember. He said, because it'll start to dull from like the sun, and just like any other stained concrete does. So you don't have to sill it, but if you want it to stay looking shiny and beautiful, they suggest that. We haven't needed to. This is year 2 with it. So we'll see after the summer what it looks like in this coming winter. Maybe next spring, before everything flushes out again, we might need to go over it with some siller. But yeah, a lot of people here in the neighborhood have used this company, and everybody has something a little different. So it's kind of cool. It's a really cool way to dress up your yard if you can afford it, something that you're interested in doing. It's really cool. But yeah, so the title of the video is, do we still have our country home? Yes. I'm going to have to say that a few times because the views keep changing. Yes, we do. We just do not have the time right now to spend over there. It's really hard. My husband works out of town all week long. He's only home on the weekend, and we have 2 very short days to do things, 2 very short days. And I need his help, especially over there. And so it's just finding the time, really, you guys. That's really all it is. And I wish we had all the time in the world to do that. And I'm not willing to have my husband take vacation days just to do that. You know what I mean? Because when my husband takes vacation days, it's for vacation. Right now he's using PTO to take care of his wife. But I'm so thankful and grateful. I mean, he heard that I went to the hospital and I was getting like IV drugs, and he got so worried he booked a flight right then and there, and he was home by 8 p.m. last night. So I'm so grateful that he was home, because I was miserable. I mean, miserable. I was depressed because I was in so much pain. I was in pain. Oh, not to mention, I also had a severe allergy headache. Like the pressure when I stood or sat, I was in pain in my head, my back, my leg. I was hungry because I couldn't stand to eat, like to cook something. So I was hungry. I couldn't move. I was a mess. Let me tell you what, I was a mess. And I wasn't telling anybody. I was just like, he was texting me, are you doing okay? Are you doing okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. And he always says, when you say you're fine, you're not. And I said, no, I'm good. I'm good. Because I don't like him to worry about me. And then I texted him at 4 a.m. and I said, I haven't slept all night. I'm going to the hospital, because I always let him know where I'm going and when I'm leaving the house and where I'm going, just in case. And so I let him know I'm driving myself to the hospital. And he was like total panic, And I'm like, I'm fine. And so thankfully I have a great neighbor who was able to come pick me up, because otherwise they wouldn't have given me the morphine, with good reason, because I was wobbly when I walked out of the hospital. I came home and crashed hard. It felt so good. I woke up and I drank my coffee as if it was so nice. I mean, going from being in so much pain to no pain was like the best ever. So anyways, I feel like the same thing happened last time I went, where the shots wore off. And when the shots wore off, that's when I started getting the Charlie horse again. And that happened again today. So, but not nearly as bad as before. So that's good. And like I said, I have a chiropractor appointment now, so I'm very happy. So I'm able to get up and walk, and take a shower and do all that stuff. I just won't stand in the mirror and curl my hair, put makeup on, I'm not feeling that. So, and then my dryer isn't working, and they came to fix it, and he had to order a couple parts for it. It's under warranty, so that's good. But now I have to wait for the parts to come in. So I washed laundry today, and I'm hanging it all up. So I've got laundry hanging all over my house. Oh, when it rains, it pours, that's what they say. So, anyways, but yeah, so that's what's going on with the country house. But we've got so many things that we want to do here that's really going to change. I think the projects we're doing in the backyard, I keep calling it backyard, but it's not. I don't know how people relate. It is my backyard, but it's my garden. That's what I consider my garden. And that's what I want it to feel like. I don't want it to feel like a yard. I want it to feel like a garden. And so I think the projects that I'm going to be doing back there this season are definitely going to take it from that yard feeling to more of an intimate garden space, or at least the beginnings of that. And I put a lot of thought into it. And so I'm super excited about the next video you guys are going to see. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. I'm very excited to share it with you guys. And it's, it's good. So very excited about that. And, but I think that project, and then, working on I used to call it my crepe myrtle garden, but that's gone now. So, I don't know what we're going to call that garden now. I mean, it's an extension of the magnolia garden. But anyways, so what we're doing over there, and just there's so much, and I think it's really just going to pull everything together and make it feel more intimate and more, because I'm dealing with a very compact space, but I want to add as much punch as possible that I possibly can to that space, because it brings me so much joy to walk my garden. It brings me so much joy to sit out on my back patio and listen to the birds. And, we had some yellow bird out in the backyard the other day. It was so beautiful. It sang gorgeous. I don't know what kind of bird it is. I'll see if I can find the photo. I took a photo of it, but I wasn't sure if I was, I didn't share it on Instagram. I share some stuff on Instagram, so if you guys want to follow me over there, I do share, but I didn't share it because the photo was rather blurry. But it was a yellow bird, and it was so gorgeous. I tried to get a close-up of it. Oh, let's see. You guys aren't going to be able to see it. It's going to, oops, where is it? I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see it. It's a yellow, and the black down the tip of its wings. Let me see if I took 3. This one's a little clearer to show you the wings on it. I don't know if you guys can see that. That black stripe right there is its wings down the side. So So I don't know if I don't know what kind of bird that was, but it just I can bird watch all day. So and there's a company that wants to send me a birdhouse with a camera, but I'm like, I don't want one of those because where am I going to put it? Number one, number two, I don't want to have to do a video for something that silly, So anyways, I love watching the birds. So anyway, so I'm trying to create a space that, like Ernie and I have talked, we're going back and forth on extending the patio. That won't be this season, but we are going back and forth and extending the patio out into the garden to incorporate a place for like a fire pit and a barbecue area. The only problem with that is we haven't quite figured out how to make it look like it was not an afterthought, because we have the border around the maple tree and around the patio. So we really need to consider that, and that's important to us. So we haven't quite figured that out. We haven't quite decided that that is what we want to do, but I do believe we're probably 75% sure that we want to do that. We don't have anywhere to barbecue out on our back patio as it sits right now, and I don't want to squeeze furniture in there just for a barbecue. So we put the barbecue in the garage, and when we do decide to barbecue, we'll just pull it out into the driveway and we'll do that. And so that will work out just fine. We don't eat outside because you don't eat outside in the South in the summertime, unless you got a screened-in patio and lots of fans, and that's just the reality. We don't have that. So anyways, plus we're going to be doing a treatment as well on the patio. That's another project. That's 6, 7. See, all the projects are coming that we're going to be doing. We're doing a treatment on the back patio, and we're doing one on the front porch, which I think you guys are really going to like. I'm not exactly sure when that video is coming out, but Ernie's going to be doing some construction, and it's going to really change the feel of those two spaces. And I think give you guys a lot of ideas too. So we've gotten quotes for screened-in porches, which this is not. He is not doing a screened-in porch, which I would love. I mean, if we moved to the country house, I have to have a screened-in porch there. That's you just do in the country, especially right now when we were out there. It was there was things flying everywhere, and we have things flying everywhere here already, but we survive out here. You could just get one of those zappers, one of those zapper things, and you're good to go. I'm actually going to have Ernie install one of those zappers where the bugs fly into it and they get killed right away, because you get some weird bugs out here. So sorry, I'm looking at the construction trucks go by. There's so many of them. But he's going to be doing that project, and it's going to really change the look of the patio, and I'm very excited about that. So you see, we have so many things that we want to accomplish here at our home where we live, and we don't even have a mattress for the bed yet, and the bed is still sitting there in boxes. We had all these high hopes, and Ernie goes, "You shouldn't have said anything to anybody." And I said, "I know, but I get so excited. I want to tell my friends." And so, we've talked about this. I'm so impatient. And Ernie is, because the kind of job he has, he is the kind of person, I can't sit here for too much longer, but he's the kind of person that, because of the kind of job, or because he's the kind of person he is, he's great at his job. He hears the problem. He thinks the solution all the way through before he even opens his mouth. He's always been that kind of guy. He's just that kind of person. So when it comes to projects at home, he's also that way. And I'm like, no, we just do A, B, C, and D, and we're done. And he's like, "No, babe, we have to do this and we have to do that," And we're just so different when it comes to that. So I get excited when he and I talk about things, thinking, "Oh, we're going to be able to accomplish that next week. No big deal." And he's like, "No, you're not. We're not. That's not happening." So there's that. So yeah, I have so many things here because, I'm thinking of the 4th of July. I'm already thinking Memorial Day and 4th of July and barbecues, and I'm thinking potato salad and hamburgers out on the grill and corn on the cob. I'm thinking all those things, and I want to enjoy that in a beautiful garden, beautiful yard. And so I even took the Adirondack chairs over to the country house because I was going to set that place up. That's how fast I thought we were going to get into gardening. And now I told her I need my Adirondack chairs back for summer here. He's like, oh my gosh. So there's that. I'm just a mess. And so I need to learn how to zip my mouth and not tell you guys things to get you excited. Like I get excited and then you're going to be depressed. Like I get depressed when it doesn't get done. So I need to learn how to zip it. I will tell you everything I said we're doing here, we're doing it. It's in process right now. So that I can talk about with surefire. It's getting done. So, and there's just so many, like I said, okay, so that I had an epiphany today. I'm looking at my maple tree garden. Well, I was watching gardening videos and I'm like, I'm always studying them. And I'm like, what is it that I love about that garden? Exactly. What is it about that garden that I love? Not only the maturity, right? Because any mature garden, I think, is beautiful. But because I get so excited with spring fever, which this is only my 3rd season experiencing spring fever, so I'm still a newborn to it. It's a real thing. I didn't realize what spring fever was until I moved to the South from the West Coast. I get it every year. And the first flowers that they put out are pansies. It's a cold season flower, right? They do great here. You guys saw my pansies in my last video. They're gorgeous. And those suckers have lived through snow, and I mean, they just get better. The warmer it gets, that garden gets full. It's crazy. But I want to plant color right away. And because I didn't get to plant the maple tree garden up last season, I was very excited to get it planted up with some perennials that I knew I wanted in that garden, and then annuals. But what I noticed today was this is gardening 101, gardening mistake 101, I think. Before I say it, I like the repetitive color in gardens. I like leaf structure repeated in gardens. And I like texture repeated in gardens. Now, with that said, I was looking at the maple tree garden going, it's really messy looking. Because I've not been fully in love with it. I love the catnip. I love, I love what I've planted in there, except for the fact that I spread the colors out. And I don't like that. I noticed that today. Isn't that crazy? I've been gardening for years. Today, I realized that I don't like when my colors are spread out. So what I should have done was planted all my yellow pansies or yellow flowers, whichever ones I don't even remember. Whatever I got that were yellow, I should have planted that in a grouping. All my purple in a grouping, all my white in a grouping. I would have loved that in my garden. And so it's so funny because I was looking at it today going, why can I not fall in love with this? I love the plants. I just don't like the way it's done. It looks very messy. And there's nothing that I hate more. And I'll turn the video off when I'm watching a video, a gardening video, and people don't take care, like to plan a space, not plan the space out. That's not what I mean. But when they are really lackadaisical about their planting, I'm like, no. And so it's so funny that I totally did that. I'm sitting here looking at my garden going, why did I spread those yellows out? Why did I spread those pinks out? I should have had them in big clumps. Does that make any sense at all? Where I would be more in love if I had what did I put? It was, oh my gosh. I can't even remember. Veronica? Is that Veronica that I put? I can't even remember. I don't have, I keep my tags right here, but I don't have, keep my tags on my desk. I can't remember because I'm going to do a garden journal for this reason. Also, I need to create a garden journal because I need to remember when things flush out, when they die back. The, oh God, I can't remember the name of this one either. 𝓕𝓾𝓻𝓷𝓸 𝓢𝓱𝓮𝓵. Remember I said if I had to guess the zone, I would say 3 through 9. No, those are only zone hardy 9, 10, which means once they are done blooming and the leaves fall down and turn yellow, I have to dig those bulbs up and store them for winter and plant them again next spring, which is the very same reason why I have not done bulb planting before, because I don't want to have to do that kind of gardening. But I guess I'm going to have to now because I love that flower. It's a beautiful cut flower. It's very popular in wedding bouquets and wedding flowers and stuff like that. Oh, I thought Ernie was trimming my foggers here. I'm like, who is that? They're fogging for mosquitoes right now. What was I saying? I'm so all over the road. Is it the medication? Anyways, so I looked at that maple tree garden and I was like, why did I plant like that? I can't believe I planted like that. So now I'm like, is it too late to go in and move things around? I think I might. Just, bunch them up. I think I'd be happier when I look at it. I'm not happy with it. And I do want to add more, to the garden. And the hostas came. I got my hostas. They came in the mail and I bought them because they were sun to shade. No, that was the other ones I planted. I bought these particular hostas because they said that they could withstand 6 hours of sun. I get them, you guys, and the tag says 4. So now they can't go in the maple tree garden. They can't. They won't survive. It's okay. I've already found a new spot for them, but oh my gosh, I was so bummed because I know that the variegated leaves can handle a lot more sun than the not so variegated or non-variegated leaves, but I was fooled. It literally says that online. I almost called the company, but it's a local. I like to support local. It's not local to me, but it's, they're grown a few states over. So whatever, I'm going to keep them. I want hostas anyways, right? So I guess I got the beginning of my hosta garden. So that's good. So we're gonna roll with it. But I just think it's so funny, and your taste changes 100% when you're gardening. It just evolves, and you guys are great. You tell me plant names that you just planted or you just found, and I'm like looking them up. What does that look like? Do I want it in my garden? So I noticed that with that said about the repetitiveness of, structure and color and all of that in the garden, that I'm going to be carrying more of what I've already installed down further into the garden because I really like that repetitive look. And I don't know if you guys have noticed that in those really gorgeous, beautiful, expansive gardens. That's what they do, is they repeat color, they repeat leaf structure, they repeat it all. And it's with stuff in between, but it's just repetitive. And it just makes for a very soothing, do you guys watch Garden Answer? I mean, who doesn't? If you like gardening and if you haven't found Garden Answer, then I'm sorry, you've missed so much. That channel is amazing. I've been watching her since they lived in the condo. And so she started in a very small garden, like a very small landscape. And so the beauty of her channel is that, she grew up in the gardening industry. Her parents own a garden center in town. And so she grew up in that life. And so she knows so much about plants because of that. And I envy her for that. But even she can't pronounce names sometimes, the botanical names of plants. I can't, pronounce this one. Where is it? I cannot pronounce this one to save my life, you guys. I cannot. You can't see it. Let's see. Is that emerald? Oh, I can't pronounce it. So I'm just calling it it's Gaiety, G-A-I-E-T-Y, Gaiety. Sometimes I say things with like a Spanish accent, even though it's not. It could just be something like Gaiety. I don't know. I'm just calling it a variegated bush, variegated leaf bush. But anyways, so I watch her channel and she has beautiful gardens. But what I love about her gardens is the repetitiveness, and she has a ton of boxwoods on her property, as she should. She loves formality, but her gardens are acres. They're acres. It's not, I wish she would open that up for, people to tour. Oh my gosh, it's gorgeous. So, and they've got so many structures on the property they've added because she does flower arranging beautifully. I love watching that. How she does it, I don't know. She's great at arranging florals. And so she has a flower shed for that because she used to be really big on growing florals. And one of the things I loved was that at, I think Mother's Day, her and her mom would go out and make a bunch of bouquets and take them out and give them for free in their little town, which is really sweet. So she was really into that, but she has since changed that area to a pretty formal garden area with a fountain in the center and benches. And yeah, she's really turning her landscape into just something truly magnificent. But you can take something that amazing and you can really bring it down to whatever size garden you have. You can add all of those elements in your garden, just in a smaller, more compact way and still get that same beautiful, feeling in the garden. And I relate to her gardening style a lot because I too like the formal look, but not super serious. You know what I mean? Like I don't like a super serious garden, but I like the clean lines and I don't like a really wild garden. And that's why I don't like the maple tree garden right now because everything is like yellow, 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 pink, pink, pink. I need all the pink in one area and all the yellow in another area. That would be something I would put in my journal, in my garden journal. Under the maple tree garden because I would have it listed like that. Do not plant colors all over the place because I'm going to get spring fever again next year and I'm just going to go out and buy my pansies and I'm just going to throw them in the ground just for instant color. Maybe not so much next year because I've got some perennials in there now. So it'll be exciting to watch the hydrangea come to life and, everything else that I put in there. It'll be really nice to see that. So maybe next year I won't be so anxious to get color in the ground. But I also want to, because I was talking to the lady at the nursery and I said, I bought my butterfly bushes from you guys, and this is what they looked like when I bought them. Why are mine this little, She's all, And Ernie takes them down every year. She goes, yeah, maybe not do that. We're new to the South, you guys. And Ernie has pulled things thinking they were dead because he didn't realize that plants go to sleep for the winter. So it was dead. It was dead. There was no leaves on it. I'm like, that's called dormancy. It was asleep for the winter, babe. They wake up in the spring again. So that was a new lesson for him. In our first spring after planting, second spring here. That was, Ernie's first lesson. And he thinks everything. Have you guys noticed what he plants so much different? He's such a neat planner. When he plants, he cleans up the area. He's such a neat planter. Like he'll dig the hole, he'll put the plant in the ground. He cleans the rocks. Like the garden, as he moves through it, just gets refreshed and beautiful as he moves through it. Where I'm like, dig a hole, put a plant in. The mulch will cover it up later. That's how I feel. And so he plants so much different. And I told him when he did the freesia, I said, those are bulbs. He pulled the bottom apart So now my freesias are, well, the next day they were like this. There was no, because he pulled the bottom, because, you know, he likes to loosen the soil up at the bottom when he puts a plant in the ground. So he did that, and he separated the bulbs. So, you know, it's all a learning lesson. I said, babe, you ruined my freesias. And I said, they're like, you know, they're standing back up again, but it's going to take a minute for them to all be upright. I hope they come back upright again. It's all a learning curve, you know, with planting here. But I specifically want to do a journal because for me, especially, it's important. I think that if I see the names in my journal, if I write the names down and see them and take note of what I have planted where, I'll be better at remembering them. You know, if something goes wrong with them, you know, I'll be able to, you know, mark when that happened, you know, what could have possibly led to that, you know, that kind of stuff. I think it's super important to keep some sort of a journal for me. So, and it doesn't have to be anything spectacular, but just a notebook, you know, but I'm calling it a journal. I just think it's going to be really important to do that because I have, you know, do I have a troll in here? No, because I need to retain information about my plants, and I need to know, because if you guys go back to my very first gardening video versus, well, I haven't shown you the garden. Well, yeah, I did. I walked you guys around the other day. How fast everything came out and flushed. It looks like two different gardens from the day I weeded to when I, you know, walked you guys the other day in the video, yesterday's video. When I did, yeah, it was yesterday's video when I did the cleaning. Did that come out yesterday? I think so. Anyways, I walked you guys around. It's like two different gardens, and that's how fast it comes to life. And that's what I'm so looking forward to. But there is that lull, you know, from when plants are waking up from their winter slumber, where you kind of go, like that, the Peruvian lily. I planted 2 yellow and 1 purple. And I planted one of the popcorns right where the purple one was. So I pulled the purple one out, not even realizing, not all the way out because it's coming out of the ground, because I guess they spread. But it took longer for that one to flush than it did the yellow ones. And had I had a journal, you know, I could go, if I'm going to plant early and something hasn't flushed out of the ground yet, I can go through my journal and say, what did I plant here? Is there anything here? That kind of thing, you know, because the Peruvian lilies don't really leave anything on the top to show you that something's there. They're gorgeous plants, gorgeous. And they are so fresh looking, which when I first moved to the South, I thought the only things to me that were exciting were boxwoods and hydrangeas, because they were the most fresh looking plants, I thought. And coming from the West Coast, where you can grow anything, you know, I mean, anything, and a lot of tropical plants. It's a very diverse array of plants that you can plant there. So moving here, I was missing that tropical feel. The funny thing is that I've noticed here in the yards and the gardens, when I'm driving out down the road and there's country houses everywhere, and you know, they've got big old expansive, like 2 acres, 1.5 acre lots. And they've got gardens with these big palms on them. And the leaves are like, they're like a fan, not a fan. They're like a egg shaped. I don't know. They're big. Kind of like the monstera. Is that what it's called? Monstera plants. And they sell them at the nursery. But those must die back and come back because they're planted in the ground. And every year these people have that tree. So they must die back, right? Obviously for winter, and then grow back in spring. So I haven't done much looking into it because I don't have anywhere in my garden that I've wanted to put one yet. those were the things that I was excited about. So when I found the Peruvian lily, I was like, oh my gosh, this is perfect because it's such a fresh looking plant and it's exotic looking. And it very much reminded me of California gardening. And so I was so excited I picked up 3. I want more this year. They're so good, but I feel like they came out closer to summer last time. But every time I go to the nursery, I look for them. They're a beautiful, beautiful plant and flower, and they come back every year and they spread. So that's really cool. But so anyways, that's why I need a journal, because I need to journal that kind of stuff, because of those type plants that don't leave anything on the soil surface to let you know, they die back like under the dirt and they literally sprout up through the ground, kind of like a tulip would or a bulb would. That's what they do. And I don't even know if they are a bulb plant because I bought them in a pot. So I don't even know if they are bulbs or not, but they're just a gorgeous plant. So that's why I need to journal. I need to journal that kind of stuff. And I also need to make notes of, like that viburnum that we lost, that it was a low or a high water table, obviously, in that spot. I need to make notes of that and the tree, which Ernie's got that under control too, because a lot of people were concerned about you see how I talk with my hands? I always have. I get a lot of comments about that. I can't help it. It's how I talk. But he's got that under control. So he's come up with a plan for the water, because we have to have a tree there. I have to have a tree there. It's part of my garden design. So we're gonna push through and we're gonna get a tree to grow there. He's got a plan for it. So hopefully it works. I think it will. I think he's got a great plan to get the water to shed out and, and not sit. And the water, there was maybe about an inch of water in one little spot where it was, sitting. So it's not like the whole bottom was wet, but it was just enough the tree was alive last year. It was alive still. He pulled out the root ball with green on it still. Another tree would have grown. And the guy told us that. He goes, if you're willing to be patient where there's green, you're going to get another tree. That's what crepe myrtles do. And I said, oh, I'm not willing to be patient. So it's out of here. So we got rid of it. And I don't have anywhere else to put it. Plus, I'm kind of happy to see it go because of the beetle issue. We dealt with the beetles every single year. And if they attack my new tree, I'm going to scream. But we're going to try everything everybody has told me. Now here in this neighborhood, people will put the traps out away from where the infestation is happening. And then there's a pre-emergent you can put down, which we haven't put down. I don't know if it's too late or not. I think they come in June, right? So it might be good timing to put them down now, the pre-emergent or whatever it's called, to keep them to kill them before they come up. But those suckers are nasty. Ernie spent hours last year picking them off the tree. Every time, I wouldn't do it, but every time there was a tree, well, I did get brave towards the end. I would just go with a cup and little piece of cardboard and knock them into the cup of soapy Dawn water. And that's how you have to get rid of them. It's kind of a pain in the butt. And if you don't do it, it will just defoliage your whole tree. Just gone. Now the flowers come out first. So what happened was first year we got attacked. The next year we got no flowers because I don't know what they did to the tree. So we didn't get any flowers at all. And so it was kind of a pain in the butt, which is kind of crazy because the Natchez crepe myrtle is the most, it's the hardiest of crepe myrtles that you can get to grow anywhere. And there are so many of them down here. And when you enter my neighborhood, the builder put them in homes there. And I was so excited to see that because they're my favorite tree. And those ones are just fine. Although when I put it on the neighborhood page, everybody said they were dealing with them too. It doesn't last that long. Your tree eventually leaves out and all that. But I felt like I was never going to get the full beauty of having a crepe myrtle there. Now, the tree that we did get, it It's a big tree. It gets to 25 feet tall. That's the height, that maturity. And what's maturity? 40 years, 50 years. So it does get pretty tall. It's a lot tall. Well, I didn't want to go above 20 feet out there. The 15 to 18 foot range was really what I was looking at. And the Natchez, I think, was about that range. I could be wrong. I could be taller. But that was about the size of tree that I wanted. And, it is. And Ernie still wants to get a dogwood. He wants to put a dogwood somewhere on this property. I don't know where. He said, we're putting a dogwood here. And I said, okay, where? Where are we putting the dogwood? I don't know. Do they have dogwood bushes? I told him he could have a dogwood bush because they're big trees. How big do those get? Don't they get big? Dogwood tree size. Let's see. 15 to 30 feet tall. 15 to 25 feet wide. That's a big tree. So whatever. He wanted a dogwood for that area, and I vetoed it. So they take forever to grow. I do know that because everybody has them coming in, which is mind-blowing to me because they have them planted. You know how you have like a garage and then the entry into the house is on this side, and then you have the garage side here where the entry to your backyard goes this way. They have the dogwoods planted right next to the house, like right next to the garage, which makes zero sense to me because it's a tree. And I'm like, when that tree reaches maturity, it's going to tear up the garage foundation, the driveway foundation. It's going to tear up everything, because it's like literally right next to like a hedge, like you put a plant next to a garage, next to a garage. It's wild. So that's why he said he wanted one until we read up on it. And I was like, no, sir, I don't want a 30. I don't know how fast they grow. So I didn't want a 35-foot tree in 2 years. So, because they grow here so well. But those over there are growing slow because those were the first homes built in this neighborhood. And I think it's 5 years old and they're still only about 4 feet tall, the trees. So I don't know how little they were when they put them in. They are beautiful. The way they layer the flowers, they're beautiful. So I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, I wanted to get on here and talk about the country house because so many of you guys are so excited about it and anxious about it. Pause. Let's put the brakes on. We got to get this house done first before we move over there because I definitely want to concentrate 100% of our time there. It's going to be needed. It's going to be needed. We are not going to have any time. We can't do both. That's just spreading ourselves too thin. And then in between that, we have family, so football season starting. All of our grandbaby sons play football. So there's, life. And so we're trying to get as much done as possible right now because we know that once football starts, we'll season, for games, not practices and stuff because that's during the week. But when games start, that's when we're going to be busy with the grandkids, and we will not give up our time with the grandkids for anything. So anyways, so I just wanted to let you guys know that it's coming. It's coming. The country house is coming. It's just, we got to find the time to do it. And we live here. And I'm sure you guys totally get that. But I felt bad because I was getting all these questions. I'm like, oh, they're so excited. And Ernie's like, you shouldn't have said anything. And I said, I know. But I was so excited to share with them. And I did. And now you guys are excited. And we're not doing anything there. But be excited for this house because we got lots of good projects coming up here too. I hope that explains everything to you guys. I got to go. I got to stand up. My back is hurting right now. But I will be looking for the next video. It's going to be good. I think you guys are really going to like this one. It's a great gardening project, and I think it'll give you guys some ideas. I really do think it will. So anyways, we will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for hanging out with me live, guys. Bye.